Good morning, Bitcoiners. This is Daniel. Citadel summer episode 65. We're on the last week. It is a Tuesday. It's a beautiful morning out here at the lake. And today, what I want to talk about is watching content about Bitcoin. Because I watch a lot of content about Bitcoin. And I saw a very interesting post by kind of a controversial Bitcoiner, I think. A lot of people have thoughts. A lot of people have thoughts about this Bitcoiner. Predator on X is what he or she is called. And Predator made a post recently about watching Bitcoin content. And what Predator said is that, I'm going to say he, just because I don't know. I'm going to say he. So Predator said that he only watches certain kinds of Bitcoin content, and that's technical content to help with things like, setting up a cold card or, getting your security set up, getting a Lightning node going, that kind of content, the kind of content that you'll get from BTC sessions or Southern Bitcoiner, that stuff. I would add to that content maybe stuff that'll help you to understand how Bitcoin works, how the network works. And I think when you're beginning, learn how the financial system works and how Bitcoin fits into it, how Bitcoin fixes it. I think that's all. I agree with Predator about this. That's all good content to watch. I think what kind of struck me was there's a lot of, if this isn't a simulation Sunday, but one of the things that I think is actionable and logical about my understanding of the simulation is that because of the second law of thermodynamics, because this is a system that needs energy to function, just like the Bitcoin network, right? The way the simulation or the governor of the simulation can manage things or likes to manage things is by getting a lot of people to believe the same thing and to have the same kinds of habitual patterns. So habitual patterns and belief systems, what Timothy Leary called reality tunnels, right? If you can get a lot of people in the same reality tunnel, that reality tunnel is not that expensive energetically to maintain for the simulation. So that's what the simulation likes to do, right? And that's why social media is the greatest thing ever invented for the governor of the simulation, because it can get people into these reality tunnels and get them to, think the same way and habitually act the same way without a lot of energy input, right? And we as Bitcoiners are not immune from that, right? So what I have to try to catch myself on, because I love Bitcoin content. I'm a huge, Bitcoin fanboy, and I'd rather watch Bitcoin content than other things that I used to waste my time with. So really, at the root of it, it's not Bitcoin content and me watching Bitcoin content that's the problem. It's me having a social media addiction. That's really the problem, right? So I try to do things like this, right? I try to get outside and, in the morning, and I don't just make the video in the morning. I have a whole routine I do in the morning. That's a routine that I would say probably 99.9% of people don't do. So that's my own thing, right? That's my own thing. This is going against it's my own little teeny weeny narrow reality tunnel that I'm forming here, right? Those kinds of things where you're breaking pattern. You are not caught up in some kind of negative default programming or some kind of habitual pattern. That's good, right? You're doing your own thing. Do your own thing. Maybe that's the name of this episode, right? So where does that leave us with Bitcoin content and with, because I'm glad I don't look at other things on YouTube, right? But I do look at a lot of Bitcoin content. And a lot of it is just hype and influencers who have, some of them whom have questionable ethos, right? There's a lot of grifters out there, even in the Bitcoin community. And there's a lot of people who aren't grifters, but are just making hype videos, right? To catch your eye. Here's a good way to see, to vet the videos when you're looking at them. If you're like me and you want to cut down on some of these, some of the Bitcoin content you're watching on YouTube. And I'm going to say YouTube because I use YouTube and X, and I think a lot of Bitcoiners do. So if you want to do that, how are we going to stop the hype? Oh, and my camera, my tripod emergency, right? Now you got a completely different angle. Here we go. Tripod emergency. Well, how do you do that? Look at the thumbnail of the video. And here's another content that I get sucked into, right? And I definitely know shouldn't be there. Is I like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, and I like Benny Johnson. Those are my guilty pleasures. But if you look at the thumbnails on those videos, it's all AI-driven hype thumbnails, right? With like melting faces and explosions, and you can tell it's AI, right? Those thumbnails are designed for YouTube to attract people to their channel, right? It's like, it's a honeypot for people, right? To get them in and watching the channel. If you see a thumbnail like that, don't watch that video. I'm going to say it categorically. That's a video you want to avoid. Just like me, I'm trying to cut down on Benny, right? I'm trying to cut down. I like the content. It sucks me in. It draws me in. It's like catnip for me, right? But if you see a thumbnail, it's one of those AI thumbnails with people like, you can tell, what they look like. That content is not for you, right? Don't go there. I say that, but one of my favorite shows of all, that, is Nolan Bowerly's Bitcoin on Rumble channel. And he has been experimenting with those kinds of thumbnails, those tiles at the beginning of his show. So for me, I'm torn, right? Because I like that. That's the kind of content I actually like. So this hypey content that has an AI thumbnail that's just there to draw you in and suck you in, and you're not really learning anything. Who cares about the daily macro situation and that kind of stuff, the price, and I don't need to know that. That's not helping me, right? What does help me, what I do like Nolan's show, because what he does is he comes in with a funny take on the news, a take that's a deep take, right? Where he's mocking the fake news, right? And once you get it, you realize he's mocking the fake news, and it gives you that framework to mock the fake news and not buy into it, right? It's also a place where like-minded people can hang out and chill, right? It's like the front porch of an old country gas station where people hang out and they smoke their cigarettes or dip their tobacco, and they're spitting on the porch there, and they're having a cup of coffee in the morning, and a little drink of bourbon in the afternoon, maybe a mint julep, and they're sitting there and they're chatting. And we have our Nolan, and he's the guy, he's the master of ceremonies, right? And he's the one who kind of leads the discussion. And we chuckle and we make little comments, and that's what I like those shows. Jerry Loves Freedom is the same way. Jerry doesn't talk about much. He'll show a couple videos, but most of it is just touching bases with the people in his community who it's rallying the troops, right? That's what it is. Keeping people's spirits up, right? Welcoming new people to the journey, right? Rallying the troops. I like those. Jor's show is the same way. Most of it is like, checking in with folks, just touching bases, rallying the troops, the community, right? Letting people know there's other people out there like them. Some people are the only Bitcoiner they know for 100 miles around, right? So I like those kind of shows. If I'm going to watch a show every day, Those are like the 3 shows I watch. I like those shows. Another show, Bitcoin content that I like, and now this is starting to get a lot, right? I'm gonna have to cut down on even with just that, right? I like Jack Mallers' show. He doesn't got any stupid thumbnail that's a crazy one, right? And he brings really good information every week. Great show, Jack Mallers show. I don't even know what he calls it anymore. He always says it's Mailbag Monday, but that's not really what it is anymore. He does his, he talks about what's on his mind, and then he does Q&A at the end of the show. It takes about an hour, in, out, boom, boom, right? Great show. So that's a good one. I like, I'm partial to these guys because I'm a member of the Maple Bitcoin school community, but I like Rajat and Forrest. Rajat posts a lot of content, so and you don't have to watch every single one of Rajat's videos. I kind of do, right? But he has good informational content. He has technical content. It actually will stand up to what the Predator said. It has to be technical content because he's got this compound interest calculator, right? And his whole worldview for Bitcoin is wrapped around that. So if you need to understand how compound annual growth rate will affect your finances and why it's so important to Bitcoin and why Bitcoin is the answer, watch you a ton of Rajat shows, my friend. Watch that, right? If you want to know, if you are bold enough to want to trade and understand the trading part of Bitcoin, technically, what it means, right? 2 shows for you. One, Forrest Hodel. He's got a great show, Bitcoin Not Crypto. And he is a real trader, right? And he actually, I think he said recently, and I could be wrong, Forrest, correct me if I'm wrong, that his trading portfolio keeps up with Bitcoin. That's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, maybe it was even a little bit ahead. I hope it is, because if you can just buy Bitcoin and hold, which is what I do, then why would you trade at all? I'm not as smart as Forrest, though. I don't know that part, and I don't want to spend the time with it. Maybe if I didn't watch so many YouTube videos, I'd have the time to do it. And then the last one that I've really been enjoying lately is the Bitcoin Wizard, right? Is it Adam Livingston? I think it is. And he's been on fire lately. The last week or so, he released a really good video every single day. So if you need, he's kind of a bit of a hype guy, but he's savage too. He's not some hype guy where it's like, oh, Bitcoin, orange pill, orange underwear, weird stuff that shouldn't be part of Bitcoin, but I'm going to bring it in here, and I think, you can think in your own mind who the influencers are who do that, but he's not like that. He's a savage. I call Rajat the savage with the spreadsheet. The Bitcoin Wizard is a savage because it's no bullshit. Sorry, kid show. It's no BS. He is just like, he did a great video on why MSTR, and I'm an MSTR holder. I hold it in a tax-deferred account, right? And you can say all you want about how it's part of the fiat system, and it is. It's a speculative attack against the fiat system, right? But he directly, Josh Mandel, Josh Man, Mr. 84K, Mr. 444K, came out and took a shot at Saylor. And in the last week or so, MicroStrategy has been really taking a lot of heat from people who have been dissing the business model. And the other day, Adam came on and he said, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. And he laid it out why the MicroStrategy business model is great. And it's better than anything else that fiat has to offer. He compared the dividend that MicroStrategy or Strategy is offering to the dividend that McDonald's is offering, for example, and why McDonald's is a darling and Strategy, I almost said MicroStrategy again, Strategy is a pariah, and it's freaking awesome. You got to watch that video. What else do I like to watch? I watch way too much. That's why I'm trying to, after I get through with this Citadel summer project, I'm going to try to limit my just my YouTube in general, because I watch all kinds. I'm starting a business now, so I watch Alex Hormozy videos, which I love. He's great. And I'm learning a ton from that. I have a guy he's an AI guy, and I can't remember his name because I said during this time period when I'm working on this project, I can't distract myself. I need to stay focused. But I want to start learning more about AI and how I can use AI personally, right? Because I think AI is a part of the strategy that people are going to need to use, right, to move forward. And I do use AI a lot right now. I don't make stupid thumbnails for my YouTube channel with it, but I do use AI a lot, and I'm trying to learn it and become someone who can prompt it and get good information out of it. And eventually I want to host my own AI, and I want to train that AI for me to be my personal AI. We're not there yet. You got to be careful with AI, peeps. Got to be careful with AI, but I think it's important. So I'm going to start to branch off into that, but I got to narrow the window. Right? So if you're like me, if you love Bitcoin videos, but if you already have conviction and you already know your stuff, you don't need to watch any of those macro videos. You don't need to watch that. Watch Jack Mahler's show once a week. Just do that, right? You don't need to watch the hype videos. If you want a video, if you want a community where you can sit on that front porch and hang out with your buddies and validate the fact that you're a Bitcoiner and there are others around who are cool people and they're on this journey with you, Watch a Jor video, watch a Jerry video, right? Do that, right? Watch Nolan one day a week. Maybe you're going to watch Nolan one day, then you watch Jor, and then in the afternoon you watch a Jerry, and that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? You don't have to watch them every single day. If you feel like me, you're watching too much Bitcoin content. I actually like it though, because I used to watch a lot of different kinds of content. I still do watch a little bit. Like I just mentioned, I watched Alex's videos because I'm getting into business and I want to learn that. I watched some Mark Moss videos because I'm interested in buy, borrow, die as far as my finances are concerned, right? But I want to narrow that down. I don't want to watch as many videos, and I'm trying to do things like get outside all the time, So rather than watching a Jack Cruz video, I'll actually get outside. Imagine that, right? So that's the point of this. And I can't remember what the title was. I had a good title there a little while back, didn't I? I didn't think of one this morning before I started my video, which is unusual for Citadel Summer. Does that mean I have to go back and look at the video to come up with a title? Dang. Oh, that's unfortunate. I had a good title too. I'll think of something. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Don't worry about me. So I'm going to talk about my content for a minute. And you guys may have noticed that I don't have a typical kind of content. I have my own niche, I think. Just some guy standing out in front of a lake, riffing about Bitcoin, one take. You don't get a lot of that on Bitcoin YouTube, right? Bitcoin Twitter, Bitcoin Rumble. I kind of have my own little niche, don't I? And usually my videos are between, I think the shortest videos I've done is around 5 or 6 minutes, and the longest it was more than a half hour. Oh my God, that was a long video. So mine don't take that long to get through. I'm one of those guys who uses 1.5x too. I don't go 2x, but I'm a 1.5x guy for some videos. So that's what I want to do. I want to stop watching as much content, because even though I think Bitcoin content is worthwhile, I'm going to circle back now. I don't want to be caught up in a reality tunnel, right? I don't want to be caught up in that, because Bitcoin for me is freedom and sovereignty. I don't want to be controlled, right? I don't want to be sucked in with other people. Even though we Bitcoiners are sovereign people, we can get sucked in too by the governor, by AIX, right? By the God of this world. We can get sucked into reality tunnels that make us governable, right? We don't want to be governable. So we need to break these patterns, break free. I love one of Jason's sayings that I really like is break free or die trying, right? So we want to break free of this, of the patterns, right? We don't want to do what's expected. We don't want to get sucked into these reality tunnels that make us easily manageable, right? We don't want to do that. So we got to pick and choose, right? And for me, now I am deciding to pick and choose. And just as a recap, and Nolan, I'm speaking right to you here. If you ever watch my videos and you get this far, anything with an AI title, cross it off the list, right? Just cross it off the list. Start there. Sorry, Benny, oops, not going to watch your videos anymore. Nothing against you, because I love your content, right? But I love it, but it's like, it's like junk calories for me now. I don't need that content every day. I don't, right? Try to find the content that's like good, pasture raised, grass fed beef or wild salmon. That's the kind of content you want. So, be a discerning consumer of content, right? Content that's technical, that will help you in that way, with your understanding of how the network works, with your understanding of finances, with your understanding of, how to set up your own sovereignty systems, servers, signing devices, super backed kind of cryptography, right? That kind of stuff. That's all good, right? Community channels like Jerry's, like Jore's, like Nolan's. That's the kind of content that I'm trying to restrict myself to. Everything else, when I look at it, I see the AI title, I say no. I look at it, I'm like, why am I watching this? I turn it off. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm doing, right? That's what I've visualized myself doing. And the way that I take action on that is I just turn off the video, right? So that's my content for today. I hope you watch my show, right? You'll notice I don't have an AI title. Easy for me to say, right? I like it when you like, subscribe, and comment. I don't even know if it matters if you subscribe now, really, because there's only a few shows left. But I do like the comments. That's what I like the most. I do like the fact that I don't know if it's because of this show or not, but I am getting more people that I'm talking to. So keep that coming. I do like to talk to people. I do have a link in the description where you can schedule time to talk with me. I don't say that every time, but that is a true statement. What I do say every time, though, is I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.